Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Sarah Harkness. Sharky, it's great to connect with you all the way from Australia. So thanks for being on the show, and thanks to our mutual friend Justin Breen for introducing us. And his connections are always great. You got a cool resume. You're the resume of Cattle Dog Digital, leaders in revenue optimization technology, where you're a full funnel consulting and implementation team that stands up your tech stack across sales, marketing, and finance for companies. We always like to start the show Sharky. I'm a business coach, and I work with people who are successful and stuck. Clients all over the globe. And so I love this podcast because I can bring guests like you on where I can help clients around the globe as well continue to get unstuck. And so before we dive into really learning about the business, I really want to know, as a business CEO, where's your stuck?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, it always seems to come back to me, right? Mm-hmm. So it's generally because I've either not had enough awareness, or I had a blind spot, and it tends to happen on a daily basis. But I feel like that little piece of adversity is I look forward to it now.
Yeah.
And I'm no stranger to adversity, so.
Yeah. But you bring up a really good point. I see that in people that I coach. And one of the things I would say, the very first thing I work with with people when I'm coaching them is raising their level of awareness. And as they raise their awareness, then the lens continues to change. So it is like you're talking about something that really is a daily experience, because sometimes people will say, well, my level of awareness is, it was raised yesterday and now this is still happening, right? Because when you start to see things differently, you start to see different cracks. You start to see everything in a new way. So I appreciate you sharing that, because it's a pretty vulnerable thing to share. And I think as CEOs and leaders today, we need to be vulnerable. And so I know how I work with my clients to raise their level of awareness. Working with them kind of on a consistent basis, 15 minutes a week in many cases, so we can kind of keep the shelf life going. But how do you raise your level of awareness?
I have a number of different techniques and things that I've caught along the way. And I feel like every single day is an opportunity to learn something new. So as long as I come into the day with that, but it's always routine. So, waking up, I like to see the sunrise, get out on the grass if I can, or just be in nature for the morning. And then really just getting into the day with a set intention. So I guess because as a woman and particularly as a CEO in tech, you are up against some challenges that you face naturally in that environment. So that alone, let alone some of the things that I could share, but it enables me to I always go back to that humble place of where did I come from and what do I want to do today? Yeah. And as long as I go into the day like that, my mindset just always reactivates as I got this, because nothing's ever going to be as bad as that, or I've got these data points to draw from.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. It's as we, one of the things I do every morning is meditate and journal and find those things that ground you, because I agree that really is kind of the first step of awareness. Okay, now let's move on. Let's move on to you. So you're starting the day, you've got your intent moving forward, your day's ready to go. Here you are now, the CEO of a company in a post-COVID world, hybrid. Are you in the office? And then how do you manage the evolution of that and just keep everybody feeling connected.
And look, I would say that this is actually probably one of the most challenging things
Yeah.
about where we are now and where we are generally as a world. Um, but for our business, post-COVID, and look, we've been a remote organization since day one. So we've been remote for 10 years. We took a leaf straight out of the GitLab handbook, and we had a remote manifesto based on theirs and went to work going, how can we actually enable our employees to come to work and do their best work so that they're so engaged that they bring their best selves. And if
Yeah.
I create and foster a culture and an environment like that, my staff are incredible. And look, we're not immune. We've had our own challenges through the pandemic. My goodness, like we've had contractions, we've had people leave, we've had so much adversity that we too have had to face. But what I'm really, really proud of is the consistent internal dialogue that we have around the culture, which is you, you don't have to work 9 to 5. You just need to work what's required.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has a subjective view of that in my business. Everyone brings their own understanding of that. But there's a symbiosis and a trust that my team and my squad are just going to execute. And I can tell you that they do with such art and such selflessness. It is incredible.
That's
inspiring,
great.
Actually. It's so inspiring.
I love that. And so let's talk about your journey as a CEO. No one's success is a straight line. So kind of take us back to, wherever the seed was planted, the mentor's advice, and how you kind of give us kind of the 2-minute version of how you got here. And because I think I asked for a lot of reasons. One, because I want to know. Two, I think the thing community wants to know. And I think people are trying to kind of figure out that path for themselves right now.
Completely. And look, I'm frankly, it wasn't easy. It's been 20 years in technology, and as a woman in tech and a woman in sales and marketing or revenue in tech, how many female CROs are there really? So I actually came from the CRO world, and I was mentored by the likes of Mike McBride at GitLab. I mean, I reported to him for a number of years and really helped him take GitLab to market here in APAC. So my whole strategy was to really learn from these incredible, great giants. And that's partly why I've written a book, because I have to give credit and nods to these incredible people in my life that have not only shaped my career. I mean, as a small wildling, I started my career in 2008 at Salesforce. I was an SDR. I had never done sales. I'd never done tech sales before, but I just fell in love with the fact that this technology was so applicable to business. And I was like, this is like Facebook for business. And I fell in love with it. And I became this advocate for Salesforce for 10 years. Like, it was just, I think it was because of the people around me that it shaped, and also a belief in what we were doing. And so I picked, particularly out of the Benioff playbook, that when you believe in what you're doing and that what you're doing is for good, you end up creating a culture in your organization that is fundamental and propels you forward. Because you can always keep coming back to that center. You can keep, what's our mission again? Oh, that's right. That's what we're doing. I forgot. Let's go.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, getting back to center, because, one of the things in doing my research on you, when Justin introduced us, is you had an experience where you came close to death and suffered a stroke and spent almost 2 years in the hospital during COVID. Now you're kind of coming through that. You're writing a book. So tell us just about, the journey, the overcoming, the lessons, and then, giving back, a piece of that pain for other people to grow?
So I cannot begin to tell you how hard it was to miss every Mother's Day for 2 straight years. I missed Mother's Days, I missed Christmas, and to be away from your family and suffering takes you to places that you perhaps didn't necessarily want to go. But I'm really grateful I went there.
I'm
I'm
glad to see
so
you healthy.
grateful.
I'm sorry you had to walk through that.
Thank
I'm sorry
you.
you had to walk
Thank
through
you.
that. But your book, A Survival Tale Guided by Giants,
hmm
tell us about it.
So I was sitting in a hospital in October of last year. So we're not even talking, a year ago, I literally was being fed through a tube. This time last year, I was
Right.
in St. Vincent's Hospital, being fed through a tube, relearning to walk. But in October of last year, I was like, this can't be it. I just looked around the room. I literally looked around the room. There's, the nurses leave you for hours and hours on end. They're incredible, but they're busy. And so you're on your own. You're just on your own for that whole time. And I went looking for my people, and I found them. I came across a community of incredible entrepreneurs, and I'm the kind of human that that works from intensive care because I'm committed to my people and my staff, and I'm really, it's probably not great. I've been told to jump off a Zoom from time to time.
Yeah.
However, the commitment that I show is the commitment that my team shows, and I don't expect everybody to show up that way.
Yeah.
But if I show up that way, then at least my team show. Then my team can see the example, and they're going to at least try to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's something that you reflect on now that your health is back, which I'm so happy to see and hear about. But what's something you reflect on as far as something that you learned during that time that you didn't want to keep, but you want to carry with you?
The fire is your friend.
Yeah.
And frankly, even I need reminding of that from time to time. But that adversity that you're facing, the challenges you're experiencing, you get a choice. You can be a victim,
Yeah.
or you can turn it into something else.
Yeah.
And for me, I used it as fuel. But I also used it as, hang on, there's something else here. Could I
Right.
turn this fire into gold? Maybe, I don't know. Like, how can I turn this situation? It's so bad.
Yeah.
It is just so horrendously horrific. I
Yeah.
would not wish it on my worst enemy. How can I turn this into an alchemical gold? And so I thought I need to share this with people and hope, in the hope that they can do that too, because I know that it's possible, and I am the living proof. I'm literally living proof that you can, with a mindset, change your entire life. Yeah. I'm living proof of it.
Yeah. Mindset it's so interesting. It's there's so many. I really believe in the idea that we teach our pain in so many ways, and so as we walk through pain, we can turn it into gold if we have the right mindset, and then extract some lessons and then teach people who are walking behind us. Yes. And so, what is your daily mindset? Like, we started today talking about kind of your morning routine and this and the other are pieces of. But what is your mindset on how do you get back to center, to that mindset when things, when chaos occurs?
So I have a son who is neurodivergent, and I needed to find a way to explain this mindset to him. So I created an algorithm because he thinks in equations. So I sat down and I created an algorithm. So I keep coming back to that algorithm, and it's called the abundance theory, and it's inspired by Peter Diamandis, obviously. I'm part of the abundance community, but I was completely inspired to, I really just combined my understanding of, very rudimentary understanding, by the way, of quantum mechanics and quantum physics and technology, my background, with what I'd learnt. And I just kind of put it together and was like, here's a way that I can communicate to my son, who's 5, that you can turn black into gold.
That's
and
great.
now we have a way to communicate. So he goes off to school and says, have a gold day, Mum.
That's
And
special.
I love that I've been able to use the and frankly, it's not just me. I have co-pilots that help me, right? So I'm really grateful for those influences and helpers in my life that enable me to think this way, so that I can give to him a gift like that.
That's great. I love that. That's beautiful. Let's talk a little bit about your business, Cattle
Sure.
Dog Digital. Talk about it. Tell us about it.
Cattle Dog. So we we essentially create flow in your revenue funnel. So we love, please come to us if you are experiencing any kind of digital dysfunction, right? So you've got HubSpot or Salesforce happening at the top of funnel, and maybe the leads are getting stuck somewhere along the process. We love to unravel that, and we create flow for organizations. And in particular, with Project Lotus, which is a nonprofit component of Cattle Dog as well, we're doing that with impact-based organizations. So very exciting.
So your ideal client is someone who is in the situation you just shared.
Yeah, in pain.
Any size or?
So most of the time we're working with scale-ups and kind of your Series A's. So just before you've got enough tech and collected enough technology in the business that it's become dysfunctional. And look, it happens, right? We add and someone joins and someone leaves, and hang on a sec, why have I got this, and why is this process like? No one looks at it. So what we try to do is help to harmonize that entire funnel and remove any digital revenue leakage, so that you create flow.
I love it. I love it. That's great. All right, great. And that can be found at cattledogdigital.io. Let's do a quick speed round, Sharky, shall we?
Hit me.
A book that has had the biggest impact on you, and why?
Life Force, obviously. Tony Robbins, Peter Diamandis, probably the two most. I mentioned them in my book. Actually, they've had the biggest impact on my actual life. I owe Peter my life, because he introduced me to this community, and not only that, all of these incredible people beyond that. And when there's a moment where you're like, I just needed to find my people. I was able to save my life, because I went and found my people to do it.
Yeah, it's great.
That's incredible.
Tony has had a huge impact on me. I actually posted a quote of his today on my social. One of my favorites, which is success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Tony Robbins. But I love that one. All right. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Go easy.
Yeah.
Don't be too hungry.
Yeah.
If you eat it all at once, you're going to get digestion.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Finish this sentence. One thing everybody can do to get themselves in the right mindset is?
Look in the mirror.
Yeah, it's a good one. Last question. For anyone who is going through pain, you've been through yours. How do they see the light at the end of the tunnel when maybe they can't see it in this moment?
They just need to know that they are never alone, no matter how much it feels like you are.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
And as long as you believe that, you will be able to turn anything black into gold.
Yeah. I love it. Think community. As you know, I'm a business coach. I work with people who are stuck and get them unstuck, successful and stuck and get them unstuck. And this podcast is a great resource for me to interview people, selfishly for me to learn and grow from them, and also for you to learn and grow from them and get unstuck. Sharky, you shared so many amazing things. First and foremost, it's just great to see you healthy and passionate about what you are doing and love to do. You said so many things that I loved everything you had to say, but one thing I'll extract is think community, no matter how bad things are, we always need to look at the how can we turn something black into gold, and never play the victim, and always be looking for solutions and collabing with others. You refer to it as co-pilots. Sharky, find those around us, the mentors, the coaches that can help us get there. Sharky, tell everybody where they can connect with you, learn more about you, your business, etc. Your book.
Come find me. I'm on Insta as Mama Sharky. My book's coming out in September. It's called Guided by Giants. I'm very excited.
We'll have you back. We'll have you back when the book comes out.
I absolutely would love that. And thank you so much for having me and for this amazing conversation.
Yeah, this was great. CattleDogDigital.io, and think community, if I can help you, JonDwoskin.com. Sharky, stay on for a bit, but thank you so much. This was great. And here's to great things, and most importantly, great health.
Thank you.
Thanks.